Don't like, share, or subscribe. What are you trying to do? Blow up the channel or something? I got enough on my plate. All right, part two, they get to vote too. So before we get into it, let's talk about the message. There is this real intersection between politics and psychology and all of these things that goes into the experience in college. And these people come out with a lot of this liberal leftist ideology as opposed to rational thought that balances right and leftist thinking and policies of both the right and left, so that people could help to make sound decisions that will best improve not only their own personal life, but kind of direct how they should vote, as opposed to voting with a lot of emotional insecurities and inequities. So what do? You vote for the person that you think speaks to you the most. That's a stupid way to vote. I voted that way back in 2009. I just don't want to get into it right now. Let's get to Andrew Wilson. Let's get busy.
Systemic impact.
Great. Okay, well, let's get into that. So you brought up the homeless crisis in the United States. I'm not sure it's a crisis, but the homeless problem. You're the queen of the United States. Same thing. How would you solve the problem of the homeless in the United States, even with a long-term solution?
Are you asking me, a 21-year-old college student, to solve U.S. homelessness right now?
Yes.
Can you vote?
Yes, but
Yeah, you're damn right I'm asking you the question.
You got it, Kylie.
I am a political science
figure this
major.
I believe in you.
I love my political
Kylie
science
for president.
major.
I'm sorry. Hang on, Kylie. Are you allowed to vote?
Yes, I am allowed to vote.
Then yeah, I'm asking you the question. That's right.
I want to decline this question, and it's because I'm going to be honest, I truly don't think I'm equipped to solve U.S. homelessness.
Are you going to be voting this year?
I will be voting, but I do have
And
no
you're going to vote for
interest in
Biden, right?
public office ever.
You're going to be voting for Biden, right?
Decline the question.
See, this is the hubris, right? They about things that they know. They speak very arrogantly and obnoxiously, and at times, and she's actually not the worst of the worst. All over YouTube, you go anywhere, and you have many, many leftists that are in college, and you could see it all across the college campuses, and all these videos that come from these college campuses, from like Turning Point USA and College Reform and whatnot. They speak very obnoxiously with very little experience in life. She has to decline the question, so she has to ignore that the question's being asked because she has no idea. As opposed to saying, I don't know if I have formulated my opinions and thoughts about homelessness, but I am willing to be educated. She could have just said that, but because her parents did a poor job of cultivating her thought, and college did a worse job to the tune of 50 to 100 grand a year, her political science useless degree has been wasted, and the only person that benefited in that whole thing is the college alumni and that endowment that just took in all her money for a useless degree that's not going to help her. Andrew, see if you can give her some hope.
Yeah, you're going to be voting for Biden,
You know
though?
what? Actually, Andrew, I did speak to her before the show. She said she's voting for Kanye.
I almost wore my
Brian, you weren't supposed to tell
daddy's
anyone
home
that.
shirt.
She's voting for Kanye, Andrew. I'm sorry to ruin it.
Andrew, respectfully decline, but I do appreciate you asking me about politics.
Okay, well, let me ask you a different question. If you could have voted in the last election, who would you have voted for?
This is a very tricky question for me to answer, just because currently I do not agree with a lot of Biden's policies.
Sure, but if you could have in the last election, who would you have voted for?
I will say that given my knowledge at the time during the 2020 election, I would have voted for Biden.
Right.
Do I feel more apprehension voting for Biden now after seeing his first presidential term? Of course I do. I think a lot of people do. His approval rates are down. Trump's currently ahead in the polls.
You'll still vote for him.
Of course, but like.
And so there you have some people and how they make their voting decisions. His approval rates are down. Why? Why are his approval rates down? You don't make your voting decisions based on what other people are doing. You know how many people in this building that after Trump got shot which I have to admit for me was a harrowing emotional experience. The guy is a father. He is somebody's husband. He has siblings. Some people in here didn't exactly say, because I probably would have just thrown them out, that you don't call on violence against anybody. I don't like Biden's policies. I also think that he's probably corrupt, criminalistic, and he's probably unjustly enriched himself with dark money related to his son and his connections to all of these shell companies that exist collecting overseas money. Okay, so that goes into my decision making. I'm not saying that Trump himself is an angel, but when you compare the two, Trump became poorer going into office, laying on the ground next to the podium with blood dripping down his face. My thought was, this guy doesn't have to do any of this. What keeps him going? What keeps him going? He doesn't do anything. He had a great life. He could have been continuing to allegedly have sex with, prostitutes and OnlyFans, gals. He could have kept being rich and famous and powerful and liked, and he didn't care about any of that. He threw all of that caution to the wind with his own life, as we can see, because he almost took a bullet because of what he believes and how he believes the country should be moving forward with some kind of pragmatic thought and peace through strength, and make sure that our enemies stay weak and poor. Because when they have money, obviously you see, dastardly deeds are done, especially against us and our people. Okay? So those are how you make decisions, rational decisions based upon logic, reason, facts, and good news. You look at the news across the board as opposed to this partisan news, unless, of course, you get your partisan news and cross-reference that partisan news to other partisan news and then come up with your own thought and ideas and decisions. Not because the guy, like I said, 2008 was a rough year. 2009 was the beginning of the second Obama presidency. And I voted the first time around for Obama. Why? Because I was very emotional and unbalanced, unsettled. And his rising rhetoric and his positive, I couldn't vote for McCain. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it because I felt like he was a hack when he chose Sarah Palin. But now my eyes are open and I look at everything through a logical lens. I'm hoping Andrew Wilson could help her to do the same by the end of this conversation. Let's see.
The reason that I ask these questions, right, and you say, if you use the cop-out, well, I'm just 21 years old, it's like, okay, but you can cancel my vote. You can cancel my vote. And that is, it's sickening to me that a person if we move into a political discussion, right, and it's not even anything against you. I just don't think that 21-year-olds are smart enough to fucking vote. That you're going to ask them a question and they're like, I don't know, I'm only 21. It's like, well, then why are you fucking voting?
Can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
What would you do to solve U.S. homelessness? What would you do?
I would reopen mental institutions, public mental institutions, and put most of them in there because that's what most of them are, is mentally ill, and they're homeless by choice. Most homeless people are homeless by choice or due to severe mental illness.
Would you also implement policies to ensure the continuity of care once these people were out of the mental institution?
We already had such policies, and fucking Democrats destroyed it all. The passive-aggressive, pussy-ass Democrats, with their bleeding hearts, decided that they were going to tear down the public mental institutions. The reason that they did it is because they sent a reporter went into one and found signs of abuse in one institution. And so they tore the entire thing down. That's why you have homeless people shitting on the sidewalks in San Francisco, and why you have them shitting on the sidewalks in Miami, why you have needles all over the place, is because these are literally mentally ill people and you can't do anything with them.
I forgot to tell you, it was going to get a little bit rough there. He went off, but to her credit, she was listening, and I'd like to think that maybe she was taking it in. She is still young. She's 21 years old. She has seen nothing in life yet. And, who I was at 18, 20, 25, even into my 30s, my early part of my 30s, I did not really start hitting my intellectual stride till I was in my mid-30s, when I started to make more money, and I started to acquire more things. I started to rise up in prominence in the fitness, wellness, healthcare industry, which is why I tend to life coach. Well, and I know some people like to, oh, you're a life coach. I don't brand myself as a life coach, but you teach people that they come in when you're guiding somebody in bodybuilding, when you're guiding somebody in training, working out, losing weight. You're doing the same thing like you would do to coach somebody into helping them make a decision for college, or what business direction they want to go into, or where they should invest. These are all things that you coach people into doing, which is what I do. The only reason I started this entire discussion on this channel is because I'm trying to get people to look at things logically and with good, well-landscaped thought, critical ideas, examining different perspectives, and then coming to the best decision that you feel most comfortable with, even if it disagrees with my positions. But you should always be making a decision based on all the information so that we can all pursue the truth, because that's the only thing that I'm after at the end of the day, is finding the truth. And once we come to that truth, we can use that truth to architect decisions, be that legislatively or in our own personal lives, to pursue the best quality of life so that we can live an overall happier life.